Hello. When I released my new recipe on my Patreon, I tried to change my Patreon many times. I know I need a haircut. First, I released my recipe to my Patreon, and I thought to myself, well, it's not point doing it when only my patrons will see it. So I then decided that I'm gonna do with early access. Uh, 2 days after that the YTP will be on Patreon. 2 days before the YouTube, you know, it will publicly be available after 2 days. I thought that, yes, and then because when I post on my patrons on my Patreon my YTP only, I have them unlisted on YouTube, and I just made them public, and then I have read that making it from unlisted to public hurts the algorithm. And then I decided to send them on email of my patrons. So now what I will decided I will do, I will release on them on my patrons to Patreon 2 days before. I will release my YTPs on my Patreon 2 days before. Then, after these 2 days will be over, I will delete them from my Patreon and YouTube and re-upload them, and then make it public on YouTube and on Patreon also. So that way it will the YTP will be re-uploaded to YouTube, but it won't be hard the algorithm. Also, I have thought that I will also send them to email, to my patrons email, because I'm thinking that well, if I'm gonna post them 2 days early on Patreon, because some of the people couldn't access will not some of the people, in case they cannot access Gmail or Patreon for some reason, I don't know. I will send them on email, and they will be on Patreon. I'm saying this 2 days, the YTPs 2 days before, uh, as a backup. They will be on Patreon and sent to my Patreon's emails as a backup, as a backup. And then, after 2 days, they will be deleted from Patreon and YouTube and re-uploaded on Patreon and YouTube. I decided to do that. Sorry if there was confusion, because I have made all the updates, and I basically been stuck in a hole. I basically didn't know what to do, because I don't see the point of making YTP for, I don't know, my patrons, which is my patrons, mm, mm, for my patrons on a month. If 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 Because I think I can make more out of my YTP. More people can see it, I think I can uh, get more from my YTP, more views, more, and I think I'm I'm like zoning myself to what I give doing my YTP and what I get back. I decided that the YTPs patrons will only have YTPs 2 days early, and the YTP will be sent to your email, and it will be on Patreon. So if you can't access your email, it will be on Patreon. And if you can't access Patreon, it will be on email. And basically, that's all I wanted to have to say. Sorry for all the confusion. I thank you everyone for watching. I I appreciate everyone watching my content. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate the supporters on Patreon. I appreciate my Patreon will be in the description if you want to get this white piece 2 days early. And for now, have a nice day, be safe, and see you next one. Bye.